Elijah fled from Jezebel to Mount Horeb, where God met him not in wind, earthquake, or fire, but in a still small voice. He received his final assignments: anoint Hazael, king of Aram, anoint Jehu, king of Israel, and anoint Elisha as his successor. Then Naboth was murdered for his vineyard, and Elijah pronounced doom on the house of Ahab. Now the wheel of judgment begins to turn, and Elijah's time on earth draws to a close. Ahab goes to war. Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, besieges Samaria with a massive army. He sends messengers to Ahab demanding silver, gold, wives, and children. Ahab agrees, but Ben-Hadad demands more. He wants the right to search the houses and take whatever pleases him. The elders of Israel advise Ahab to refuse. Ahab sends word, "Let not him who puts on his armor boast like him who takes it off." The battle begins. A prophet tells Ahab that God will give him victory so that he will know that the Lord is God. Israel's forces strike the Arameans. Ben-Hadad escapes. The Arameans regroup and attack again the following spring, believing Israel's gods are gods of the hills, not the plains. Another prophet speaks, "Because the Arameans think the Lord is a God of the hills and not a God of the valleys, I will deliver this vast army into your hands, and you will know that I am the Lord." Israel defeats Aram decisively. 100,000 soldiers fall in one day. Ben-Hadad flees to the inner room of a city. His servants urge him to surrender. They put sackcloth on their bodies and ropes on their heads and go to Ahab. Ahab calls Ben-Hadad his brother and makes a treaty with him. But a prophet condemns this mercy. "Because you have set free a man I had determined should die, it will be your life for his life, your people for his people." Ahab returns home sullen and angry. The end comes at Ramoth-Gilead. 3 years of peace pass between Israel and Aram. Then Ahab invites Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, to join him in retaking Ramoth-Gilead from the Arameans. Jehoshaphat agrees, but asks first for the word of the Lord. Ahab gathers 400 prophets. They all say the same thing: "Go, for the Lord will give it into the king's hand." But Jehoshaphat asks, "Is there not a prophet of the Lord here whom we can inquire of?" Ahab admits there is one more, Micaiah, son of Imlah. "But I hate him because he never prophesies anything good about me, only bad." Micaiah is summoned. A messenger tells him what to say. The other prophets are predicting success. Speak favorably. Micaiah answers, "As surely as the Lord lives, I can tell him only what the Lord tells me." When he arrives, Ahab asks, "Shall we go to war against Ramoth-Gilead or not?" Micaiah first gives a mocking answer: "Attack and be victorious, for the Lord will give it into the king's hand." Ahab knows sarcasm when he hears it. He presses, "How many times must I make you swear to tell me nothing but the truth in the name of the Lord?" Micaiah speaks plainly. "I saw all Israel scattered on the hills like sheep without a shepherd. And the Lord said, 'These people have no master. Let each one go home in peace.'" Ahab turns to Jehoshaphat. "Did I not tell you he never prophesies anything good about me?" But Micaiah is not finished. He describes a vision of the heavenly court. The Lord sits on his throne. The hosts of heaven stand around him. A spirit comes forward and offers to entice Ahab into attacking Ramoth-Gilead by putting a lying spirit in the mouths of all his prophets. The Lord says, "Go and do it." Micaiah concludes, "The Lord has put a lying spirit in the mouths of all these prophets of yours. The Lord has decreed disaster for you." One of the prophets strikes Micaiah on the cheek. Ahab orders him thrown in prison and fed bread and water until the king returns safely. Micaiah's final words, "If you ever return safely, the Lord has not spoken through me." Ahab goes to battle anyway. He disguises himself. He tells Jehoshaphat to wear his royal robes. The king of Aram orders his chariot commanders to fight no one except the king of Israel. They mistake Jehoshaphat for Ahab and pursue him. When Jehoshaphat cries out, they realize their error and turn away. But someone draws a bow at random and hits Ahab between the sections of his armor. The king is propped up in his chariot facing the Arameans. Blood from his wound runs into the bottom of the chariot. By evening, he is dead. The army scatters. Ahab's body is brought back to Samaria. They wash his chariot at a pool where prostitutes bathe. And dogs lick up his blood, just as the word of the Lord had declared through Elijah. Ahab's son Ahaziah takes the throne. He walks in the ways of his father and mother, serving Baal and provoking the Lord to anger. He falls through the lattice of his upper room and is injured. He sends messengers to consult Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, to see if he will recover. But the angel of the Lord tells Elijah to intercept them. "Is it because there is no God in Israel that you are going off to consult Baal-zebub? Therefore you will not leave the bed you are lying on. You will certainly die." The messengers return with this word. Ahaziah sends soldiers to arrest Elijah. The first captain and his 50 men approach him on a hill. "Man of God," the king says, "come down." Elijah replies, "If I am a man of God, may fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50 men. Fire falls. They die. A second captain comes with 50 more. The same words, the same fire, the same death. A third captain comes, but this one falls on his knees before Elijah and begs for mercy. The angel of the Lord tells Elijah to go with him. Elijah delivers the message directly to Ahaziah. "Because you sent messengers to consult Baal-zebub, you will not leave your bed. You will die." And Ahaziah dies. Now the time has come for Elijah to leave. Elijah and Elisha travel from Gilgal. Elijah tells Elisha to stay behind. Elisha refuses. "The Lord has sent me to Bethel, and I will not leave you." They go to Bethel. A company of prophets meets them. They ask Elisha, "Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master from you today?" Elisha answers, "Yes, I know. So be quiet." Elijah tries again. "Stay here. The Lord has sent me to Jericho." Elisha refuses. They go to Jericho. The prophets there say the same thing. Elisha tells them to be quiet. Elijah tries once more. "Stay here. The Lord has sent me to the Jordan." Elisha will not leave. 50 prophets stand at a distance and watch as Elijah and Elisha reach the river. Elijah takes his cloak. He rolls it up and strikes the water. The water divides. They cross on dry ground. On the other side, Elijah asks, "What can I do for you before I am taken from you?" Elisha's request is bold. "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit." Elijah answers, "You have asked a difficult thing. Yet if you see me when I am taken from you, it will be yours. Otherwise, it will not." They walk on together. Suddenly, a chariot of fire and horses of fire appear. A whirlwind descends. Elijah is taken up into heaven. Elisha sees it happen. He cries out, my father, the chariots and horsemen of Israel." Then Elijah is gone. Elisha picks up the cloak that fell from Elijah. He walks back to the Jordan. He strikes the water and cries out, "Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" The water divides again. He crosses. The prophets watching from Jericho see him and say, "The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha. The mantle has been passed." Elijah, who stood against kings and called down fire, who fled to the wilderness in despair and heard God in the stillness, who pronounced judgment and anointed successors, is gone. But the work continues. Elisha carries the mantle. He will walk through Israel for the next 50 years, performing miracles, advising kings, and holding the line against the tide of evil. Thank you for listening to this episode about the death of Ahab and the ascension of Elijah. If this retelling of the Chariot of Fire and the passing of the mantle was meaningful to you, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and sharing it with others who might appreciate this series. In the next video, Elisha will begin his ministry with miracles, purifying water, multiplying oil, raising a child from the dead, and healing a foreign general of leprosy.